Polynomials have a characteristic known as their degree, and in this short video I'm going to show you how to calculate the degree of both monomials and polynomials. The next characteristic of polynomials that we want to talk about is the degree of a polynomial. We have two types of degrees that we want to specify. We want to talk about the degree of just the monomial within a polynomial, and then we're going to talk about the degree of an entire polynomial. So if we're looking at the degree of the monomial, we're talking about just the sum of the exponents of the variables. So let's take a look at a couple of monomials and find their degree. If we have a monomial and we want to find the degree, we merely add up the exponents that are on the variables, and that is the degree of that monomial. So if we take a look at 5x squared, we look at the exponents on the variables and add them up. In 5x squared, there's only one variable and one exponent, so the degree of 5x squared is 2. That was pretty easy. 4a to the fourth b cubed c. That one's a little different. We have an exponent of 4, an exponent of 3, and the c has an exponent of 1. Now that is one that everyone needs to watch out for. Most people forget this exponent right here. So make a mental note to remember that when you don't see an exponent there, there's actually an exponent of 1. So if we add up all of our exponents there, we have 4 plus 3 plus 1. So our degree of this monomial is 8. The degree of any constant term is 0. Now why is the degree of a constant term 0? Well, the degree of a constant term is 0 because the degree is the sum of the exponents of the variables. Well, if there are no variables, then we have no exponents of which to take the sum. So the degree of a constant term is always going to be 0. Now, what do we do if we're focusing on a polynomial, which is the combination of several monomials? Well, we calculate the degree of each individual term of each individual monomial within the polynomial, and then we look at the largest value that's there. Whatever the largest value that is there, that is the degree of the overall polynomial. So let's try a few. Take a look at this first polynomial, 8x squared minus 2x plus 7. List the degree of each individual term. So first let's look at the degree of the 8x squared. 8x squared has a degree of 2. 2x has a degree of 1. Remember, if there's nothing there, it's a 1. And the degree of the 7 is 0. There is no fourth term, so we don't even worry about that. So what's the largest value found in this polynomial? Well, it's 2. So the degree of this polynomial is 2. How easy was that? Pretty easy, right? So let's look at the next one. The degree of y to the 7th, 7. The degree of 6y to the 4th is 4. The degree of 3x to the 4th, m to the 4th. I need to add my two 4's. So let's just write down that. That's what we're doing there. We're going to get 8. And there is no fourth term again. So the largest value we found in the second polynomial example was 8. So the degree of that entire polynomial is 8. Let's take a look at the last one. The degree of this x, even though there's no exponent shown, is 1. The degree of the 3, there's no variable, so there's no exponent at all, is 0. There's nothing in a third term or a fourth term. So the largest degree found in this polynomial is 1. And that's how you find the degree of a polynomial. So you try one. What do you think the degree is of this polynomial? Go ahead and pause the video and give it a try. See what you find. Well, did you get that the degree was 5? The first term has a degree of 5. The second term also has a degree of 5. So the largest value there is 5. The degree of the entire polynomial is 5. So let's summarize. To find the degree of a monomial, just add each exponent that you see in the monomial. And remember that if you don't see an exponent on a variable, then that exponent is actually a 1, and you need to include it in your sum. Also remember that if your monomial is a constant, like a 1, a 2, or a 3, or any other constant value, then the degree of that value is actually 0. Remember, it takes a variable to have a degree, so a constant doesn't have a variable, so its degree is going to be 0. To calculate the degree of a polynomial, find the degree of each individual monomial making up that polynomial, and then look for the largest value that you found. That largest degree is going to be considered the degree of the entire polynomial. If you need to view the video again, just rewind and watch the parts that you need clarification for. I hope this helped you find the degree of a monomial and a polynomial. Write down any questions that you have and ask your teacher. I'm sure that he or she can clarify anything that you need help with.